It's the SKOR North Twins Show.
How about I unmute myself there? That would help. SKOR North Twins Show. Declan Goff here from Target Field, hanging out with you guys. Twins get a big series win to pick up just their second series win of the season. Twins win today by a score of 4-3. Weird, back and forth, but very entertaining game here from Target Field. But the Twins do pick up a series win. I mean, Monday it looked bleak. I mean, it was a bad game for the Twins. They now rack up back-to-back wins against a good Mets team, by the way. That obviously was an impressive series win for them, so now they get an off day. Hit that like button and subscribe button. Yes, this podcast was off to the similar start of the Twins. It was completely off for the first 15, 30 seconds. Now that mic is on, so that totally helps. Appreciate you guys that have supported the SKOR North Twins Show. We're getting closer and closer to 5,000 subscribers. So if you haven't, hit that like button and subscribe button. My name's Declan Goff. I cover the Twins in a beat podcasting kind of format. So if this is something you're interested in, something you'd like to support, hit that like button and subscribe button to keep spreading the word about the SKOR North Twins Show. Okay, so little recap from today, and also I'll have some injury updates on Matt Wallner, Willi Castro, maybe some corresponding roster moves as well. Stick around for that. Twins do get a 4-3 win today. Let's start with David Festa. So Festa got a second turn in the starting rotation, something that I was told on Friday when he made his first start here, that it was not just a come up here and, go right back to St. Paul situation. He had every right to earn another start. He pitched well enough on Friday, pitched well again today in 2 starts so far, even though he hasn't gotten past the 5th inning. He has yet to allow an earned run. So David Festa continues to look pretty solid. And, that Mets lineup, especially the top half, Lindor, Soto, Alonso, that's as good as a 1-2-3. I know Lindor's struggling a little bit off the season, but that's as tough as it gets for your first 3 guys that you got to face in order. And plus, I mean, you have other guys like Acuna who was causing problems this entire series. Like, the Twins had to work for it against this Mets lineup. And Festa, who had that slider working really well. He kind of discussed how that pitch is kind of elevated for him now. He's going to maybe using that a little bit more, but he had 6 strikeouts today in 4 1/3 on 5 hits. So an impressive start for David Festa. And the Twins bats, who it was more of an aggressive day on the base pass for the Twins than necessarily it was for like the Twins offense, I guess is probably the best way I can phrase that. I mean, at the end of the day, they scored 4 runs, which is big, but I mean, they only had 3 runs through 9 innings today. But they were very aggressive. They were taking extra bases. They were stealing bases. I mean, Ryan Jeffers on 2 outs, I know, but scores all the way from second base on a ball that goes 70 feet up the first baseline. Like, they were aggressive. They were sending people. They were trying to take the extra bag to put themselves in scoring position. And to be honest, I appreciate that. This offense has been scuffling a bit. That's no secret. Guys have been underperforming to their career norms or season expectations and projections. And, if you can cheat your way a little bit, and by cheat I just mean hustle a little bit harder into second base or take the extra bag or send them home, I mean, why wouldn't you, right? So I thought the offense today, even though it only reflected 4 runs and 3 runs in 9 innings, I thought did a really good job today taking the extra bag. So good on the Twins offense there as they improved to 7-12 on the season. If they lose on Friday, this will be the exact same record they had at this time last season through the first 20 games of the year, or to start the year. So they're 7-12 right now. They have an off day on Thursday before hitting the road for Atlanta, who's probably the most disappointing team in baseball. If you think the Twins have been disappointing, which they have been up to this point, Atlanta might be the most disappointing team in the league, but that's going to be a big series for them. Harrison Bader, let's talk Bader. I mean, this guy's maybe been with Ty France their MVP of the season. So Bader, who had some home runs early, obviously his MO is defense, and having won multiple Gold Gloves is very important. But again, he has a big day at the plate today, goes 2 for 3, knocks in a run, scores a run, almost scored another one. He was tagged out at home on a Buxton ground ball. Otherwise, would have had 2 runs scored. But, I mean, this guy's hitting 9th in your order. I kind of understand that, but he's hitting 280. He has an 800 OPS. I mean, you might have to eventually move this guy up in the order. I mean, he's a great 9 hitter. It rolls over the lineup. I think we got a Lakeville versus Lakeville North-South game going on at Target Field for high school behind me. So if you hear that, that's what that is. But Bader has a big day at the plate and also at the field. I mean, this is what you get when you sign a Gold Glove center fielder to then share left field and center field with Byron Buxton. I mean, this is a perfect situation, and outfield defense definitely matters. You know, like this is a really good, when I know Wallner's hurt right now, but Deshaun Kersey Jr. is also a very capable outfielder. So is Matt Wallner. And you saw Harrison Bader again make a diving play against the Sun today. That was very impressive. So Harrison Bader with a big day at the plate, big day on the field. That was obviously pretty big for the Twins today. He helps them get a big win. Let's talk about the bullpen because I see the comments here. So after Festa, he loaded the bases with 1 out and the top of the order up. And I mean, recipe for disaster, right? I mean, that's going to be pretty tough to overcome. So they bring in Danny Coulomb, who's been a great lefty, still hasn't yielded an earned run this season, gets a double play ball in one of the wildest double play unassisted situations I've ever seen from Edward Julian. He receives the ground ball on the right side, tags out the runner because its bases are loaded, so tags out the runner at first, and then almost misses the runner who's then running to first. That's the hitter. He's able to get on the bag in time to get the double play, get out of the inning, get out of the jam. I believe 4 double plays today, all 4 of them unassisted, which is wild. Even David Festa in the postgame was like, I don't know if I've ever seen a situation like that. So Coulomb has a really nice inning. He comes back out there too after just throwing the 1 pitch. He gets then the 6th inning. Louis Varland continues to look really damn good. I've been waiting for, a lot of fans have been waiting for Louis to kind of string this all together with the really good raw stuff he has. And I think over the last few games, I mean, this has been as dominant as I remember seeing Louis Varland. He pitched an inning today, allowed a hit, got another strikeout, is pumping really good velocity. And the Twins, sport a 3-run lead going into the 8th. And here comes Griffin Jacks, who had another really rough day. Technically gets credited with the blown save. After, again, the 3-run lead that he had going into the 8th, you're going to bring him and Duran in to close this thing out. Duran has thrown some pitches, but close game, depending on the lineup situation. Like, I totally get why Duran would get the 9th. And unfortunately, Griffin Jacks gives up 4 hits, 3 runs, all earned. Jack's ERA up to 7 on the season. He got off to a bad start in the first 2 appearances to kick things off in 2025. And before today, let's see here, had 5 appearances, 4 straight appearances without allowing an earned run. So, I mean, was putting things together a little bit. He had a big performance on Sunday against the Tigers where he struck out the side, but this is where bullpens and arms can be really volatile, right? Last year was no secret that Jax was the best bullpen option for the Twins. Duran kind of was a little up and down, a little inconsistent, and now you're seeing it the opposite way. Like Duran, you might not be throwing the 103, 104 that we saw a few seasons ago, but he's getting more productive outs. He's getting guys to swing and miss, and he has been as dominant as Duran has been, and Jax is still kind of fighting some things here and there. Is this him tipping pitches? Is this just him missing his spots? Maybe more the latter than the former. But the Twins obviously are going to need Griffin Jacks to be one of their best relievers. I mean, he's still going to get high leverage situations, and he obviously, coughed up a lead today, and thankfully the Twins were able to rebound in extra innings. And I mean, this team, we all know how bad they can play in extra innings, and luckily they were able to get the walk-off win. But yeah, Jax has to be better. I'm sure Rocco is still going to rely on him to be better. But for right now, the bridge from Jackson to Duran is still going to be their number 1 and 2 options. But this is where maybe dubbing the best bullpen in baseball is definitely a little premature. And also just, I know I don't go on Judd's Hockey Show anymore with just the duties I'm doing here at the Twins, but it's just like goaltending. Like, you can project to have really good goaltending. And unless you have Mariano Rivera or Connor Hellebuck in hockey, it is hard for the 5th to 15th best reliever in baseball to continue to put up the same numbers over and over again, and especially collectively. Like, even last year, the Twins were supposed to have a good bullpen, ended up being really average, right? So I know there was maybe some thought that it would reverse, that it was really average. It's actually going to live up to expectations this year. They're bullpens. There are situations where if your starter's getting pulled after 5 innings, like 4 of them might do really well and 1 guy might mess up. That's going to happen over the course of a baseball season. It just gets magnified because it's high leverage situations in the 8th inning, and that's where it's easy to point the finger and say that's this guy messed up. So I'm sure Jax is going to be better from this. They're still going to rely on him, but they obviously need him to be a lot better. Hit that like button and subscribe button here. I got some roster notes, injury notes coming at you here on extra innings. I'm going to pull this up here. So let's start with Willi Castro. So Willi Castro was pinch hit for Mickey Gasper, which was weird, right? Because Willi Castro's a switch hitter, Mickey Gasper's a switch hitter. Why would he be? What are we doing here? What are we swapping? Turns out Willi had some right oblique tightness that he was dealing with. So he was pulled from the game. In the locker room afterwards, he said he was looking forward to having the extra day of rest. So, I'm not sure if he'll be an IL guy. I know how much I always vent about this team not ILing guys when they're indeed hurt. We'll see what that tightness looks like for Willi. They're playing the Atlanta Braves this weekend, so not sure what the status of him will be for that. I can tell you, Matt Wallner is going on the injured list, so he had some hamstring issues. Said the injury is in a similar spot as it was yesterday, so he's going on the IL. Corresponding roster move, I don't know. I know I'm recording this right now at 4 p.m. on Wednesday. Again, the Twins don't play again until Friday, so they have the luxury to kind of figure this out a little bit. But just asking around, I don't think they want to rush up Emmanuel Rodriguez. I don't believe they want to send up Luke Keeschall, who definitely needs as much time in AAA, coming back from Tommy John, and is kind of positionless. I don't really know where he fits into the Twins' position group. So I don't think it would be Luke Keeschall. I don't believe it would be someone like Emmanuel Rodriguez. I think they want him to get as many consistent at-bats at AAA. Mike Ford, former big leaguer, he's maybe an option. To be honest, with them needing, not needing someone for 48 more hours at the time of this recording, like maybe even a waiver claim, I could see a situation like that. God bless him, he had a great spring, but like Mickey Gasper hasn't really done much for the Twins. I know with Wallner going on the IL, that creates the room. But I would probably lean right now waiver claim. If everyone's looking for the path for Emmanuel Rodriguez and Luke Keeschall, I would pump the brakes on that, at least as of now. I think as the Twins are figuring things out. Yeah, I see in the YouTube comment section, Austin Martin's hurt. This would have been perfect. Martin was off to a great start at AAA. He unfortunately went on the IL already. Jose Miranda went on the IL for grabbing a box of water at Target and it slipping and hurting his hand. You talk about a bad week for a guy. So Jose Miranda's on the injured list there too. So yeah, I would envision maybe a waiver claim, maybe something like that, or someone not as exciting from St. Paul. I think that's what I'm trying to get at is I don't think it'd be Luke Keeschall, and I don't think it'd be Emmanuel Rodriguez. So if you're hoping for one of those two, if Twins fans want to see them, and by the way, rest assured, I do think you're going to see both those guys with the Twins. Maybe Emmanuel Rodriguez sooner than Luke Keeschall, but you're going to see both them in due time with the Twins. But right now, you can kind of roll with you have 4 outfielders. You have 4 capable outfielders in Buxton, Bader, Larnach, and Deshaun Kersey. And I don't know if they necessarily need a 5th outfielder for that. So I know losing Wallner is definitely a big bummer, and it creates more roster kind of confusion because if they have to face a lefty, I'm not sure just off the top of my head here if they face a lefty in Atlanta, but Edward Julian's been obviously leading off. They do get Chris Sale on Saturday, okay, so they are going to face Chris Sale, who's obviously one of the nastiest left-handers of the last few years. Atlanta's TBD for Friday's start. Chris Paddock is in line on the Twins side to start on Friday, and then they'll get Grant Holmes on Sunday. So I'm not sure what Atlanta's planning to do on Friday. Go check out the Braves SKOR North Twins Show for that. But yeah, I just follow us on Twitter Follow me on Twitter, Dex Tweets, for any updates on that. Also, programming note, no Trevor Plouffe this week. I know we promised he'd be on Thursday after he was off on Tuesday. Coach Treb's enjoying a vacation with the fam, so he's out living his best life with wifey and kids, and we're going to let Trevor Plouffe obviously enjoy that vacay. He'll be back next Tuesday for a normal Trevor Plouffe Tuesday, and hopefully with more wins to bank, we can talk about what's going on with the Twins maybe turning things around, but I'm sure Trev will have a lot of thoughts on that. So no Trevor Plouffe this week. I apologize. I know the Twins fans love it, but be patient. He'll be back next week to break everything else down. I think that covers most of what I had written down here. We will have a full show with Mackie and Judd tomorrow on Thursday still, so you'll still get that on the Twins off day. And then some maybe sporadic extra innings episodes through Easter weekend. It's WrestleMania, and the Wolves are in the playoffs, and the Wild are in the playoffs. So we're strapped in, baby. We're ready to go here at SKOR. So a lot of moving parts and a lot of stuff happening. Plus the draft is next week. This is always one of our favorite times of the year at SKOR North. So that'll do it for me here at Target Field. Appreciate you guys for supporting and liking the SKOR North Twins Show. I love doing this. We're getting close to 5,000 subscribers, so hit that like button and subscribe button on the Apple and Spotify. I know there's an outage on Spotify on Wednesday. Hopefully that's fixed, and hopefully you're getting these in your feeds. But appreciate everyone who has supported the SKOR North Twins Show. We have a full show tomorrow. Mackie, Judd, and myself will be ready to rock. Appreciate you guys. Talking at you soon.